Nagyon jó. Nagyon jó.
Azt 9-es.
Mi? Ja nem, ez 6-os, várjál. Eldegesíts már. Jó.
Elmehetőleg? Majd be a vízre, kapával kívül baszogodjuk.
Mi?
Ha akarok.
És akarsz?
Szerintem nem akarok ennél jobban.
Mi ez? 0-9.
Zoom is kimegy.
Ó. Szilva.
Hello.
Nyugodtan. Mármint egy ember feljöhet.
Itt van a kolléganőm, akinek ugye mondtátok, hogy majd neki kell a streamet jóvá hagynia, mert hogy barcelonai
Igen.
a YouTube, hogy ő legyen itt, vagy ő jól van lent, és csak megnyomja a gombot valamikor, és...
Hát nekem mindegy, igazából én most már küldöm, szóval azt látnia kell, hogy...
Aha, tehát most már el tudja fogadni.
Igen.
You can accept now, because the streaming
Hoppá.
has started. Yeah. Hoztam nektek egy programot, ha ez segít, de el is küldtem e-mailben.
Igen, megkaptuk.
Úgyhogy
De a kézi az
abban
mindig
a
segít.
mappában, amit megosztottam veletek, már a frissek vannak, még a délutánihoz jön majd egy új. Azt fel fogom szintén oda rakni. Meg tudjátok nyitni, működik nektek.
Az elsőt eddig odáig jutottam, az elsőt megnyitottam.
Jó. De hogy hozzáférnek.
Ja,
az
igen.
első-
Igen, az már le van töltve.
Oké, van-e valami kérdésetek irányomba? Bocsánat, bármi, ami nem tiszta, nem érthető a programból.
Egyelőre nincs.
Az első lesz húzós, mert ott össze-vissza fognak online, meg itt részt tudok beszélni, az fel fog jönni, és akkor ott próbálok, hogyha bármi kérdés van, akkor ezt.
Ja.
Jó, oké, köszönjük
Köszönjük
szépen.
szépen.
Véletlen ezüstöt hoztam el. Fehér helyett ezüst van. Ja?
Be van mutatva az esti?
A 2 az le. Direkt, hogy ne menjen ki.
Hoppá. Ez így elindult.
De ez mi ez? Ja, ez egy videó?
Igen.
Ez mi? 5? 6?
Hoppá. És ezt is megint megcsinálom, akkor megint azt nyílik meg, mert ez jó lenne tudni. Akkor nem kell bevégzézni. Bár azért be kéne, hát inkább be kéne.
Inkább be kéne. Hát vagy majdnem mondtam, hogy rak be VMX-be, de hát nem lehet ugye. Amúgy elengedték a izéket.
Tolod is.
Igen?
Jó, és azért
Mi jön be?
esti egyen.
Ez egyen jön be?
Ja. Hát húzd le mindent masterből, és unmute-olj, hogy AUX-ba jöjjön.
Az bejön. Stream az honnan hova? Az az ST2-ből küldöm.
Nem, a keverőből. Jó, de azt megoldom.
Dear guests, dear participants, I would kindly ask you to take your seats, please. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests and speakers, rectors and presidents, it is my great honor to welcome you to the 2024 Charm EU Days and the opening ceremony of its first element, the Charm EU Annual Conference, Bridging Cultures, Embracing Diversity, European Universities and Intercultural Learning. My name is Ferenc Takó, head of ELTE Rector's Cabinet Charm EU Office, and I will be one of your hosts today. As an introduction, you heard a wonderful collection of musical motifs of the Charm EU institution's cultures from Vilmos Ola. And in connection with diversity, let me call your attention to the fact that we have speech-to-text reporters with us today, providing real-time captioning of this ceremony and all the panel sessions. If anyone would like to, you can scan the QR code on the main slide up there, pointing to the projector, and follow the captions. Now, please let me introduce you our guests today. Representing the European Commission Deputy Head of Unit Tina Delva with online connection. Ambassador of France, His Excellency Jonathan Lacotte. Ambassador of Ireland, His Excellency Ragnar Almquist. Representing the Ambassador of Spain, Councillor Oscar Lemposa. Representing the Ambassador of the Netherlands, Senior Policy Advisor Ms. Claudia Kussel. Director of the French Institute in Budapest, Mathieu Berton. From the Embassy of France, Gianmarco Gallotta. From the Embassy of Ireland, Mariana Segedio. Director of the Goethe Institute in Budapest, Miriam Bruns. Leaders of Charm EU universities, our host, Rector of ELTE and Chair of the Charm EU Strategic Board, currently Professor Laszlo Borhi. Rector of the University of Barcelona, Coordinator of Charm EU, Professor Joan Guardia in online connection. Provost of Trinity College Dublin, Professor Linda Doyle in online connection. Rector of Utrecht University, Professor Henk Kummeling, Rector of the University of Bergen, Professor Margaret Hagen, President of Hochschule Ruhr-West, Professor Susanne Staude, representing the President of the University of Montpellier, Vice President François Pierrot, representing the President of Obo Academy University, Vice Rector Marco Jos, representing the President of the University of Würzburg, Vice President Doris Fischer, Vice Rector of Obo Academy University, Professor Rico Leino, Vice President of the University of Montpellier, Alexandre Lecart, Secretary General of Charm EU, Merichel Chavez, President of the Charm EU Student Council, Champuti. Our distinguished guests, Director General of Tempus Public Foundation, Richard Bodrogi, Professor Péter Zakar, Vice Rector of the University of Szeged, Professor András Nemeslaki, Vice Rector of Budapest University of Technology and Economics, Professor Alan Alpár, Vice Rector of Semmelweis University, Ágnes Nemesi, representing the University of Pécs, Osolya Gregán, representing the University of Debrecen, Kinga Kerpics, representing Széchenyi István University. And from Ötös Loránd University, Chancellor Gyula Scheuer, Vice Rector Professor Imre Hamar, Vice Rector Professor Péter Sziklai, Vice Rector Professor László Zentai, Professor Anikó Zsolnai, Dean of the Faculty of Education and Psychology, Dr. Gabriela Papp, Dean of the Faculty of Special Needs Education, Osolya Réthelyi, Vice Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, László Turi, Vice Dean of the Faculty of Science, Zoltán Gábor Szűcs, Vice Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, Jesus Reyes, Vice Dean of the Faculty of Informatics, and Balázs Domborovszky, President of ELTE Student Union. And now I would like to give the floor to the representative of the European. I would like to give the floor to our host, Rector László Borhi, to greet the participants of the Charm EU Days. Rector Borhi, the floor is yours.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, rectors, vice rectors, deans, vice deans, students, colleagues, and dear participants. It's my great pleasure to welcome you today to the 2024 Charm EU Days with the title, Bridging Cultures, Embracing Diversity. This event unites a professional conference centered around European universities and intercultural learning, and for the very first time, a cultural festival consisting of more than 50 programs, elements at ELTE, Ötvös Loránd University, and several cultural events organized by other Charm EU members. It's my privilege to greet you today, both as rector of ELTE Utversloen University and as chair of the CHARM EU Strategic Board in this room, where in August 2019, we celebrated together the announcement of the results of the first call of the European University Initiative. That happened just 2 months before the official start of the first project of our pioneering alliance, exactly 5 years and 4 days ago. Our goals were, I confess, almost unrealistically ambitious. Still, in the past 5 years, we have succeeded in reaching them, exceeding even our own expectations. This has been due, of course, to various factors, starting from the professional experience of our experts, through the personal dedication of our team members, to the support of our ministries, national agencies, and accreditation boards. But one factor uniting all of us, this has been the strength of our unique community, which is rooted in the cultures of the CHARM EU Alliance. It is true that this has not been an easy process. We have struggled, and our struggles have most often been caused by the differences between our cultures. But let this be clear, if we dedicate this year's CHARM EU Days to cultures and interculturality, it is not in spite of these struggles that we do so, but rather to order to commemorate, acknowledge, and understand them. At our conference, we are going to discuss the challenges, opportunities, and responsibilities of European University Alliance related to the cultural experiences of students and staff members in the higher education landscape of the 21st century Europe. At a cultural festival organized at our Faculty of Humanities, which teaches more than 60 living languages from all over the world, we will have the opportunity to get acquainted with the languages and cultures of the CHARM EU Alliance in playful ways. We can watch, listen to, touch, taste, and smell cultures, pausing for a minute to recognize how experiences other cultures can help us to better understand our own. With all my heart, I wish us fruitful discussions in many languages and wonderful cultural experiences. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Rector Borhi. I failed to introduce Dean Paz Oneven, Dean of this faculty, Faculty of Law, who helped us a lot in organizing this event in this wonderful room. But now, without further ado, I would like to request Ms. Tina Delva to greet the event on behalf of the Higher Education Department of the Commission's Directorate General for Education and Culture with us online. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for passing on the floor. I hope you can hear me well. From the Commission side, it's a pleasure to be here with you, with CHARM EU. You have been there from the start since 2019, and it is great to see the progress that you have made. Let me sketch a little bit the background, the current political background. The Commission, I hope you all went to vote just before the summer, as the new Commission after the European elections is taking shape. There are currently hearings in the European Parliament, and already in summer, the Commission President von der Leyen has made political guidelines for the next 4 years public. And in the guidelines, it was put forward that for Europe competitiveness and its position in the race to a clean and digital economy, that this will depend on starting a new age of invention and ingenuity. And for us, this means that we need to put education, research, and innovation even more at the center of our economy. It means attracting new talents and retaining the best and brightest minds in Europe. And we strongly believe that we need our universities to be more competitive and attractive on the global scene. And we need excellence in Europe. And we already have this, but to some extent it is fragmented. And this is why we would like universities in Europe to work closely together. Because as you know, the key challenges of our time have become more increasingly global. We need to strengthen our open strategic autonomy. And that is why we strongly believe that transnational education and research is no longer a nice to have, but that it's really becoming a necessity. And we know we are competing with other education areas in the world. And this is why we think it's great that we see so many universities in Europe pooling their resources and to combine their complementary strengths not available at any single institutions. And CHARM-EU and other European Universities Alliances are exactly doing that. And you, as an alliance, you have the most ambitious form of cooperation with a long-term vision going beyond any regular cooperation. In total, we now have 64 alliances encompassing more than 560 universities coming from north, south, east and west of Europe to cooperate closer together as never before. And we really believe that you have the potential to bring Europeans closer together to better understand each other. And you're also promoting intercultural learning. And for us, this is also key to maintain peace in Europe in a world that is more and more polarized and in a more and more complex geopolitical world. And the great added value that you have is that you can really pool your expertise, knowledge and resources, and including expensive equipment, and that you really can combine these complementary strengths not available at any single institutions. You provide your graduates and lifelong learners with strategic skills for the future, including also in the fields of STEM and strategic sectors. And a great example we have here from the CHARM-EU Alliance is, of course, your Master in Sustainability and the many mobility opportunities that your alliance is pursuing. What we strongly believe is that the alliances can contribute to making the European education area a reality. You are embodying what former Prime Minister Enrico Letta refers to in his report on the European single market as the fifth freedom of our single market: to learn, to work together, research, innovate, share knowledge and share capacity across borders. And we are impressed by the work that you have already done so far. In a short period of time, you have demonstrated your determination, your strong commitment in making the European Universities Initiative a success. Not only by setting up your European and university campus where students and staff can move more freely across the different campuses, not only your innovative teaching and learning offer, it's also about your focus on entrepreneurship and bringing your ecosystems together, working together with many associated partners. I think that by now, for all of you working in a European Universities Alliance or experiencing the benefits of a European Universities Alliance, that you understand that it's not a simple project. It's really an ambitious long-term vision to build the universities of the future, transforming the different levels of your institutions. But we know it takes time to build a European university, and that to build a fully fledged European university, further efforts are needed. It's about mainstreaming your activities to connect more and more faculties, more departments, more students and staff members, ensuring that the benefits and opportunities can reach a larger student and staff body. It's about embedding more and more mobility opportunities for students and staff members. It's about more innovative pedagogies and flexible learning pathways. It's about establishing more joint degree programs and micro-credentials. And in this context, the blueprint for a European degree that the Commission is working on could become a key enabler for European Universities Alliances to deliver joint programs. And of course, to achieve this, the strategies of your partner universities and the one of CHARM-EU will need to become more and more aligned in the future. So we realize very well that what we ask you is very ambitious, and this was also recognized by the Commission President von der Leyen campaign in her political guidelines over summer, where she stated that she wants to strengthen the European Universities Alliances. And for that, she also states that she wants to strengthen the Erasmus Plus program, which of course we will use for different Erasmus Plus actions, but including for the European Universities Alliances. From our side, we are currently supporting under the current budgetary period, which runs up to 2027, we are supporting the alliances with 1.2 billion under Erasmus Plus. And for the upcoming budgetary periods, which starts in 2028 up to 2034, we are working on an investment pathway for European Universities Alliances. We are consulting the alliances, stakeholders and member states. And the aim is to secure a more comprehensive funding approach, complementing the educational dimension covered by Erasmus Plus, with support for its other dimensions, such as the research dimension, seeking synergies with the different European instruments, as well as with national and regional funding. So you can count on us, not only for continued financial support, but also to help lift the remaining regulatory barriers around, for example, in the setup of joint programs. And this is also where our work on the blueprint for European degree will really help you further in pooling expertise and combining strengths, delivering top-notch and highly relevant joint degrees. But this is work in progress. We are working hard together with the member states and the alliances, including also Charm EU, on making the European degree a reality on the ground. Because to make the European degree a reality, we need to have member states on board. Handing out the degrees, it is a national competence. So we are working together with member states to see how a European degree could become a reality in the different member states. Having said this, I would like to thank all of you in Charm EU to really make your European Universities Alliance a reality. Having spoken to some of your students, and recently even I met one of your professors in the plane by complete coincidence. It was really a pleasure to see the passion that your students and your staff members have for Charm EU. So we really hope that it can infect other staff members and other students in your universities to participate in the Charm EU endeavor, so that we can really have a strong inter-university campus where many of your students and staff members can benefit. Thank you very much. I wish you a very nice conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Deputy Head of Unit, for these important insights, and continuing on that passion you mentioned. Since our event is dedicated to cultures and interculturality, we decided to request our rectors to greet the participants today in a way that reflects the diversity of our alliance. So I will ask our rectors now, here in the room and online, to greet the participants in their mother tongue in 2 or 3 sentences. First, I would like to ask Rector Borhi as host to greet us in Hungarian.
I'm sorry for our international guests that they won't understand what I'm going to say. Sűrű hét előtt állunk az Európa csúcs napjaiban. Európa csúcs egyetemei látogattak el az Eötvös Loránd Tudományegyetemre. Mikor rektori munkámat elkezdtem, a programom az universitas és a diversitas filozófiai fogalmának a tisztázásával kezdődött, ezért külön megtiszteltetés számomra, hogy pont ez a témája a mai interkulturális találkozónknak. A Charm EU-ban való részvételünk Európához, az európai felsőoktatási rendszerhez való kapcsolódásunkat jelenti, Európához tartozásunkat jelenti. Nagy öröm számomra, hogy a képzéseink akkreditációjának kezdeményezései lehettünk, és hogy az első nemzetközi közös diplomákat az elmúlt években már ki is adhattuk, ami az együttműködésünk eredményességét mutatja. Köszönöm szépen.
Thank you very much. Rector Cuartilla joining us online. The floor is yours.
Good morning to everyone. Thanks to give me the opportunity to be part of this event. Apologize for my absence today, but the situation here could be very complicated and require my presence in Barcelona. So congrats for the conference. It's a pleasure to be part of this European movement. And in order to be very briefly, only three main ideas in my mother tongue. La diversitat és un senyal d'identitat de la universitat actual. Sense la diversitat i la interculturalitat no és factible construir el teixit universitari. La segona, el coneixement és la millor eina per construir una societat democràtica. El coneixement i el rigor és l'estructura fonamental d'una societat justa, equilibrada i democràtica. I la tercera i darrera idea. CHARM-EU és el model que cal seguir per fer viable la construcció de la universitat del futur. Estructures com CHARM-EU són fonamentals per comprendre i per extendre com interpretem les universitats, la construcció d'una Europa comuna. Thanks again to allow me to express in my mother tongue during this moment. It's a very important moment for us. And thank you, my dear Laszlo, to organize this conference. And I insist, I apologize for my absence today. Moltes gràcies. Thank you to you.
Thank you very much, Rector Cuartilla, and I ask Linda Doyle, Provost of Genetic College, to greet us, also joining online.
Hello, everyone. It's brilliant to see such a packed room, and I'm sorry as well that I can't be there. So a few words in Irish for me. The Vacorda Galer, tá áhasarm bheith seo anmh, ach ar lína, bhualam go raibh mé ann, tá sé antábhachtá coibrú le hoscoileanna eile is sampla úntach é CHARM-EU. Go raibh maith agat.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I give the floor to Rector Kummeling for a Dutch greeting.
Well, wonderfully put, Laszlo, Johan, and Linda. I couldn't said it better. Warm welkom ook voor allen in het Nederlands. Ik vind het fantastisch om te zien dat er zoveel mensen belangstelling hebben voor deze conferentie. En ik begrijp het ook wel, want CHARM-EU heeft de afgelopen jaren laten zien wat we in internationale samenwerking voor mooie dingen tot stand kunnen brengen op het gebied van onderwijs en onderzoek. In short, I wish you all a very inspiring conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Rector Hagen from Bergen University.
I'm Margaret Hagen. I'm rector of the University of Bergen, Norway. It's a great pleasure to be here. Jeg rektor ved Universitetet i Bergen i Vest-Norge, Norges andre universitet. Det et forskningsintensivt universitet, et internasjonalt, og også et universitet som holder akademisk frihet svært høyt. Vi veldig glade for å være en del av CHARM-EU. Veldig viktig, særlig i denne viktige tiden for Europa, å kultivere europeisk samhold, europeisk mangfold, europeisk diversitet og demokrati. Og tusen takk til ELTE Universitet for å være vertskap for denne konferansen. Thank you so much to ELTE University for hosting this wonderful conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. President Staude from Hochschule West.
Meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen aus CHARM, es ist mir eine große Freude und Ehre, hier heute sitzen zu dürfen. Es wurde zwar schon alles gesagt, aber noch nicht von jeder. Und insofern auch von meiner Seite, ich glaube, das, was wir hier mit Charm machen, ist Europa zum Leben erwecken, insbesondere für die, die nach uns kommen, für die Studierenden. Und damit ist jede Minute, die wir in Charm arbeiten, eine Minute, die es wert ist. Insofern vielen Dank für euer Engagement. Dankeschön.
Thank you very much. Vice President Pierrot from University of Montpellier.
Thank you. So the challenge goes on, so a few words in French. En France, l'idée des alliances européennes est née d'en haut, du président Macron, mais nous nous sommes très vite rendus compte qu'en fait c'était la meilleure idée qu'avait eue la Commission européenne depuis la création d'Erasmus. Très vite, grâce à votre talent, vos expertises, l'enthousiasme de tous les collègues, l'Université de Montpellier a compris qu'on pouvait tirer parti de vos savoir-faire et vous nous aider à nous améliorer. Et du fond du cœur, merci pour ça. Mais peut-être plus important, la création des alliances, c'est aussi un des outils de cohésion de l'Europe. Et le monde qui nous entoure, de plus en plus dangereux, nous montre qu'on a vraiment besoin d'être unis. So we are all different, as you can hear today, but we should stay united in a world that becomes more and more dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Vice President Doris Fischer, Würzburg University.
Yes, good morning also from my side. I'm here for representing our president who on short notice could not come because he's ill. I don't know what he would have said, but I know what I'm going to say. Unsere Universität, die Universität Würzburg, hat zwei Mottos. Veritatis, der Wahrheit verpflichtet, und Wissenschaft für die Gesellschaft. Und beide sehe ich im europäischen Kontext als extrem wichtig an. Der Wahrheit verpflichtet ist in Zeiten von Fake News selbstverständlich extrem wichtig. Und Wissenschaft für die Gesellschaft ist der Geist, den wir auch in CharmEU sehen und warum wir unter anderem, neben vielen anderen Gründen, sehr gerne in CharmEU sehen und mit Begeisterung sehen, wie die Zusammenarbeit immer mehr klappt. Und ich habe es gerade mit Maricel mich ausgetauscht, auch immer mehr Menschen dabei sind, deren Gesichter wir gar nicht mehr unbedingt kennen. Am Anfang war es ein Club, jeder kannte jeden, jetzt sind es immer neue Gesichter und das ist wunderbar. Und ich wünsche uns allen eine schöne Konferenz.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, Vice President Marco Jost from Obo Academy.
Thank you. To confuse you a little bit more, I'm not going to speak in Finnish, as maybe some of you would expect. I speak in Swedish, as Åbo Academy University is a Swedish language university in Finland, the other main language in Finland. Kära vänner, era excellenser, kollegor, det var ett nöje att gå upp för trappan hit idag. Att känna den här sorlen av en konferens som börjar och känna en massa bekanta ansikten, massa bekanta människor som kommer och talar med en utan att liksom man har någon riktig orsak att göra det, men talar med vänner bland vänner. Och så känns det med CharmEU. Vi är vänner, vi känner varandra redan bra och vi kommer att samarbeta bra och länge i framtiden. Tack ska ni ha.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, rectors, provost, and president. As you may be aware, CharmEU is proudly grounded on a student-centered approach to higher educational innovation. And in that spirit, it is my great pleasure to request now CharmEU Student Council President Chan Putit to greet the participants with a speech on behalf of the CharmEU Student Council in English.
What does interculturality mean to you? If I were to ask you, everyone, one by one, I'm certain that your answers would vary. Some might see it as cultural exchange. Some might see it as coexistence. Some might see it as mutual understanding. And ironically, this very diversity responds would be the clearest sign of interculturality. Good morning, esteemed rectors, vice-rectors, political representatives, stakeholders, academic and administrative staff of CHARM-EU, and above all, dear students. Today, in the context of the annual conference, I'd like to share what it means interculturality to me, and to focus my speech about one vital aspect: multilingualism and the importance of languages as emblems of identity. When we speak of interculturality, we often imagine people from diverse backgrounds coming together. But we seldom consider what holds these individuals together, or the unique aspects that distinguish each of them. Languages are some of the strongest symbols of identity. Yet, they are also where we often see the starkest inequalities. Across Europe, countless languages are spoken, yet not all of them are heard. Many of our minority or regional languages struggle for recognition, and some face threat to disappear. Imagine for a moment a world without all these languages. Imagine for a moment the world without your languages. Each language is more than a means of communication. It is a way of thinking. It is a worldview. If we lose that unique vision of the world, we are in a struggle. In this way, supporting multilingualism and protecting minority languages is not simply or cultural or an academic responsibility, but an ethical one. As universities, we are the gatekeepers of knowledge, and we are uniquely placed to preserve and promote linguistic diversity. A multilingual Europe is not only richer culturally and intellectually. In our classrooms, if students can study or even hear different languages, that will reflect their own heritage, their experience of true inclusion. They feel recognized and understood, and they understand that their identity matters. But let's take this even further. Recognizing and protecting minority languages isn't just about preserving the past. It's about envisioning the future. A future in which all voices, large and small, are valued. It's about creating an environment where cultural and linguistic diversity are seen as assets, not obstacles. Languages, both dominant and minoritized, should coexist in harmony. When we give our students access to a multilingual education, we give them more than words. We give them the tools to understand others deeply, to think across boundaries, and to develop empathy. Is this not the true essence of interculturality? As we move forward, we must continue to ensure that our institutions promote and protect linguistic diversity. In a world where dominant languages grow even stronger, we must be the voices for those languages that are in risk. We must demonstrate that each language matters, that each identity matters, and in protecting them, we protect the very fabric of intercultural Europe. Do you remember the question I asked you at the beginning? What does interculturality mean to you? You will listen the answer of the members of the Student Council in the opening of the Cultural Festival. And I also encourage you to think about it in the couple of days we have here in Budapest. Indeed, interculturality is complex and multidimensional. It lives in each of our languages, in each of our histories, and in each of our connections. When we embrace it fully, we create not just an alliance of universities, but a true alliance of voices. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for these great thoughts. And with this, we would like to close this first part of our opening ceremony. I kindly ask Vilmos Ola to continue the wonderful presentation he started in the beginning. Thank you very much. You heard Vilmos Ola. With this, we arrive to the second part of our opening ceremony, the keynote lecture. It is our great pleasure that Professor Nguyen Liu Lan, Director of the Institute of Intercultural Psychology and Education at the ELTE Faculty of Education and Psychology, accepted our request, opening the professional discussion with a keynote speech. Professor, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, dear colleagues and students, it is my pleasure, great pleasure and honor today to be here, to be a part of the celebration of interculturality, diversity, multilingualism, and unity, as we have heard. Today, I would like to present my ideas about the intercultural dimensions of internationalization of higher education, and also based on our research findings with my colleagues, I would like to make the case for an international student-friendly campus. I am going to walk you through some of the main points of my talk today. First, I would like to draw a larger picture about the background of the process of internationalization of higher education. And then I would like to focus more on one of the very important stakeholders of the whole process, international students, from the point of view of psychology, because I myself, I am a psychologist. And then we would like to introduce very briefly our findings about the research on adaptation of international students in Hungary. Sorry, it's about the physical adjustment. Just one moment. So that I can see. Thank you. And then I would like to get to some of the practical implications. Internationalization of higher education, and you see the acronym here. So when we see acronym, so we should get the idea that this is something that is well established. This is something that researchers and practitioners have been talking a lot about. It's a huge issue. And the term of internationalization of higher education was coined by Dr. Knight a long time ago, 20 years ago. And it's about the integration of international, intercultural, and also global dimensions into all the domains of higher education. And for example, its purpose, its functions, and by functions we mean all the main things that universities are doing, teaching and learning on the one hand, research, and then of course service function and societal responsibility. This is something that we have heard about quite a lot until now as well. And I'm going to address the part of a meaningful contribution to society, the evolution of the process of internationalization of higher education, and also the concept has been discussed a lot in the literature. I'm showing you here the traditional conceptualization. It's about the process in terms of universities are mirroring and also serving society, and of course, nothing surprising here, academic, culture, and social, political, and economic dimensions. And the principal rationale we see here is the need for global-ready professionals whose intercultural learning, and what is very important, one of the key concepts, not only of my talk today, but a key concept throughout the sessions of different colleagues and workshops and panels today, it's the intercultural competences of all the stakeholders in the process. And for example, we see some of the panels here, session here. Later on, now more recently, we can talk about the role of higher education, not only as mirroring and serving society, but also as about shaping future society. And the emerging concept here emphasizes the rationale of sustainability. And I think that nothing shows it better than the title of one of the programs of CHARM AU. So this is the master program for global challenges for sustainability. Of course, the whole process is very complex, and it faces a lot of issues, and one of these is the need to take into account the perspective of the global south, because it has been rather neglected, or at least it is not present as it should be. And we are in a very lucky situation because we do have a session addressing this issue as well today, of course, and the importance of social engagement, society responsibility aspect of the whole IOHE is very important. For example, we did just hear about the role of universities in maintaining the minority languages, for example. It is also a very important society responsibility. Let's get to the very important stakeholder group I did mention before. So this is the issues from the point of view of these students in terms of local students, because when we talk about internationalization, we visualize mobility across borders and so on. But the question here is that does everyone take part in it? Could everyone take part in it? Would everyone take part in it? And the answer is not necessarily. Only 10–15% of students are part of this. So the question of equal access to this is a big issue. And in terms of international students, I am a psychologist, and in our profession, we say that one of the basic motives for us is to belong. And the fundamental experience of belongingness, it's very important for international students, because you could be somewhere, but if you are only an outsider, for example, it's quite different compared to the situation when you could be a member of the community, you are being an inherent and integral part of the whole university, you are a citizen of the university where you are studying and so on. And I would like to address this point a little bit more closely. So the issues and concerns from the point of view of students could be addressed by something we call internationalization of higher education at home. It means that it's about the involving of all students and staff members within domestic learning and researching environments, meaning that internationalization doesn't only mean that we move, we go somewhere, but also it's about we make our very campus being international, intercultural, and so on and so forth, and all the stakeholders, all the levels of the university should be a part of it, and we should be able to create a culture and climate on campus that support the international and intercultural understanding. And what is very important is campus-based activities. So we will get to quite concrete steps as well. The whole process is very complex, and it takes place on different levels. For example, on the institutional level, and basically most of the universities would like to be a part of the internationalization, and all the statistics show this. And we also know that the university, as we have heard today, is a part of a kind of ecosystem, and the university itself is an ecosystem in a changing environment. And as I mentioned, that all the stakeholders, be students, faculty, support, staff, leadership, and so on, are involved in the process on different levels. For example, micro level of individuals, meso levels of programs and departments, and also the macro levels of the institution, university, for example. And I would like to introduce a kind of concept of cognitive appraiser, meaning that how we as individual people and also as institutions appraise the process of internationalization. It's about the upsides and the limitations. Benefits are there, risks are there, obstacles are there, And luckily now we can refer to possible solutions as well. And one of the benefits that is very important is the enhanced cooperation and capacity building. By capacity building, we could mean, for example, intercultural competencies, knowledge, ideas, and so on. And in terms of risks, we did already mention the unequal access to opportunities, for example, or in terms of obstacles, it could be shortage of financial resources because we can never have enough, right? And possible solutions could be, for example, the already mentioned internationalization at home, and the COIL, again, an acronym, collaborative online international learning. It has become an important concept and practice, and of course, I put it on the upside, but I have to be critical in this point as well, because we could also mention the positives and negatives of the online communication and programs. For example, the computer-mediated communication is very well-developed field in communication and in psychology about the complexities and the negative sides and positive sides of all this also. For international students' point of view, I would like to introduce very shortly some of the findings of our research here at ELTE, the research we conducted with international students. But first, I would like, again, to put you in the context of this time of numbers. We all know, we do experience it in our everyday life and work, that the numbers of international students are increasing. For example, by the prognosis, in the prognosis of ICEF, by next year we would have about 8 million international students. The numbers are increasing very quickly. And here we are here at ELTE, where the international students number is about 4,500. It's more than 10%, is about 13-14% of our students. And this ratio is about the same in the whole Hungary. And Hungary is a country that has international students for some time. I am an example because I used to be an international student here in Hungary in the Hungarian language. And where now we have EMI, another acronym, right? So English Mediation Instruction. It's a quite different situation, and we come to this. The research on international students has become very intensive, and all the founding members of CHARM EU are on the map, where we do have a rather intensive research on this, and of course, all the other members of CHARM EU, not related founding members, can be found on the map as well. And what kind of concepts and frameworks those researchers use when they talk about the process of internationalization from the point of view of international students. We use terms such as acculturation. What happens to people who are being exposed to more than one culture? So someone who is an international student going from, let's say, Hungary to the Netherlands, what kind of cultural and psychological change we can talk about? How do they orient towards their co-national group back home, to the local groups, and also to the international community, for example? And it doesn't have to be direct exposure, because now in the literature we can meet the term of remote acculturation. What does it mean? It means that someone is being an international student, but they talk about their experiences to their family members, to their colleagues at home, to their friends, and so on. So this kind of multiplication of impact. So those people back home, they would also hear about the, let's say, educational culture of the host institution, about the country, and so on and so forth. So this is something we'd also have to take into account. And by psychological changes, we talk about behavior, values, and so on. So these kind of things I'm going to get back to. the outcomes of adaptation and acculturation is how how well we are doing, or international students are doing, or international staff members are doing, feeling well. This is something that psychologists are talking a lot about, and also doing well in everyday life. Also, of course, we are talking about students, so studying well and doing well in school is a key concept, so that's why it can be read in the red color. And also intercultural adaptation, intercultural relationships, and this is about relating well. So there are different ways to do it well, to feel it well, and all this take place in a kind of context, and this is the university context. We did mention the context before in terms of internationalization of higher education. Here I would like to focus it a little bit on the ecological context for the adaptation of international students and local students, because it's not only the international students who adjust and adapt and going through acculturation, but also local students and all the stakeholders at the home university as well. So on the one hand, we see the home culture, on the other hand, we see the host culture, and there are different contexts, societal context, and then we have institutional, organizational context, meaning university, meaning campus, and then the familiar context as well. In our research at ELTE, on the adaptation of international students in Hungary and also on that of Hungarian students studying abroad, we use the so-called mixed methods and using interviews and also surveys. So the aim here is to explore the lived experience of international students and how they see, how they perceive, what are the upsides and what are the challenges and the limitations, what are the costs they have to pay when they are studying in another institution compared to their original place. We are going to talk about things such as, sorry, I have to jump back once. In terms of academic adaptation, so this is the key factor we would like to emphasize here. The academic difficulties, it's something that all students could talk about. Of course, the case of international students could be a little bit more complicated because it's not only about studying, but it's also about the staying in the country, domino effect of failure. For example, if you fail an exam, if you are going to have the residence permit extended, for example. It's really about the everyday life and what kind of help they would be very happy for, academic support, practical training, and so on and so forth. And we see things such as double language choice and communication. I did mention English mediation instruction, meaning that, so you have been in Hungary for some days, and you hear us talking in Hungarian all the time, and it seems like, oh my God, it's really difficult to make anything out of it, and so on and so forth. So international students here being at the university, and they understand everything, they connect with people, but when they step out of the walls of the university, they meet the local language. And of course, because the instruction takes place in Hungarian language as well. So not only the language difficulties they could face in English language, for example, but also in a local language. And what they need is a very important part of the campus, the teachers and mentors and staff members who do care about students. So this is something that we found surprising first. Internationals, I mean university students, and they want us to take care of them and so on. So this kind of emotional need is there, absolutely, it's there. And what they need is the opportunity to be together with other international students and local students. We are going to get back to this. And they would like to be a part of the whole flow of communication, language communication. It should be in languages that they also understand, equal treatment and perception of the equal treatment, or if in negative cases, how cases of discrimination are being dealt with is something that is very important. So these are some of the experiences that we got from the interviews with the international students we have been working with. I did mention the appraiser aspect, meaning that how someone or an institution, how they make sense of the whole process, what kind of positive and negative things they see in the process from the point of view of international students. It's a kind of a micro level, individual level, cognitive appraiser about the personal development. We should not forget that these are young people. They are in the so-called emerging adulthood, somewhere between the adolescence and young adulthood. So it's a big opportunity for them. For example, we see things such as perspective change, broadening horizon, and our key concept here is the development of intercultural competence. And whatever is important for human beings, our feelings, our behaviors, and our thinking. So how we feel, what we do, how we do things, and how we think. So these are the ABCs in psychology. That's what we emphasize a lot. So all these go through a kind of development, and of course, so challenges as well. Not only they develop personally, academically as well, and I did already mention some of this about the challenges and also about the gains. So one of these is, for example, the skills and special knowledge they gain, the studies in English, and it would be good for a future career, and so on, European diploma, work market values, and at the challenges, of course, we can talk a lot about the other things as well. Language is something that we have to address as well. We have already heard that language is not only a tool of communication, it's about many, many more things. One of the fields where students talk a lot about the gains and challenges is language. For example, language is a kind of metaphorically, it's a magic door for success to be integrated and to be accepted in the host institution and society. So knowing local language is very important, but also knowing English is also very important because it's about social network and it's about where you are positioned in the network of students. It's a kind of currency, it puts you somewhere, it's a kind of stratification and hierarchy among students, and we have to admit among staff members as well. So this is something that we have to deal with. And whose language barriers? Is it only the language barrier of international students? Not at all, right? So it's about the language barrier from our side, from the staff members, from the support staff, and so on. And also, I did not even mention the psychological part. For example, uncertainty and anxiety, something that could come up in intercultural interactions, besides many, many positive sides of it. Language also means that at home you were smart, you were funny, you were in the center of everything, and now you end up somewhere and suddenly you are less smart, less funny, and so on and so forth. It takes you time to deal with this loss of your status, to regain your status again. So these are some examples to show that how international students appraise the what it means to them to be an international student. We do also work with numbers. We have a working model. It is very simple. It tries to give an answer to the question that what leads to doing well, feeling well, and so on and so forth. So positive adaptations is predicted by what, mediated by what? Cultural intelligence or intercultural competence, what kind of stress you have, what kind of support you have, national identity, what you think about the host, and so on. So all these could have an impact mediated by how you orient to what different groups, co-national, international, host, and so on, and also all the cognitive appraisal, so what gains and challenges you see in the whole process. And I'm going to talk more, of course, about the academic adaptation. We will get there, but first I have to mention that the international community is very important for students. It's not only about host and also not only about the culture group with whom they came together, but also it's about the international community. This is something we have to pay attention to, and cognitive appraisal, as I did mention before, and the academic adaptation, so how well students do in school. Academic adaptation, what can predict this? So it would be good to know that what would lead to the successful adaptation, meaning that our students would be doing well in school and so on. It's about, of course, it's up to the individual factors, but it's up to the university context as well, and also to the larger context, as we heard before. International friendly campus is a concept that we have been working with. What it means that how well the university is prepared to receive international students, because it needs adaptation not only from the side of students, but also from the side of institution as well, in terms of language, intercultural competencies, and so on. It's also about what kind of campus-based activities, what kind of chances are there for all students. Should not forget that it's about everyone in the campus should be participating together, activities they have together, and so on. And one of the concepts I brought up is the cultural intelligence. It's simply about our capacity to adapt effectively in a new cultural setting. And for example, you enjoy interaction with other people, you know about the other cultures, and so on and so forth. And the predictors are very simple. You see the results of some of our data collections here, and I'm going to jump to the summary table here, and it shows that, so we have data collections from 3 periods of times, and what is the common point across the 3 investigations? Of course, it is the international friendly campus. So it is something that can predict strongly the academic adaptation, so how well our students are going to study and so on. Getting to the practical implications, we should not forget the point that it's not only about the inclusive and supportive environment for international students, but it's for the successful internationalization for everyone at the home university, for the university itself. And the list of practical recommendations could be unlimited, of course. I would like to emphasize only the importance of the developing of cultural awareness and cultural competence and cultural self-awareness as well. So this is something that I would like to conclude my thoughts with. So, international student-friendly campus means that a campus that is friendly to local students and to the host university as well. So we should find our means to make the bridge stronger to enhance intercultural competencies. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Professor, and thank you very much, everyone, for your kind attention. Hereby, we would like to close the first section of our event, and our rectors must now, unfortunately, leave us for the strategic board meeting of our alliance, but we kindly request those participants who stay for the next session not to go too far from the room. So what happens now is not a break, but of course, if you need a little kind of break. Now it is the time for it. But first I would like to ask my dear colleague Silvia Sörösi, head of ELTE University Strategy Office, to take over the role of the host from me, and I will return after your lunch break around 1 p.m. Thank you very much again. Thank you.
Dear guests and participants, it is my pleasure to open the first panel session of our conference. It's entitled Intercultural Awareness in European University Alliances. The session is going to be chaired by Rena Zendedel from Utrecht University, with the participation of Christel Talon representing EU Connexus, Zuhal Okan from EU Peace, and Benedict Franke from the University of Würzburg. Rena, the floor is yours, and then as we have this little break, we are waiting all of you back for the first panel session. Thank you.
Nem kell belehajolni a mikrofonba. Csak nem, hanem minden alkalommal, amikor valamilyen mondat, akkor mindig belefúj a mikrofonba. És akkor puffan egyet. Ha messzebb áll, mondjuk így, az már bőven elég. Köszönöm.
That's what she stepped on. Ah, I should be okay, right?
I mean, just put up the presentation. Do you have the presentation? Just put it up. We tried. So, oh, you have a move.
thing is, I don't know if it works well. So instead of presenting you in the wrong way, I'll just rather tell the short presentation. So hello, Khan is just going to talk about the UPs, and you tell more because you all have other affiliations, and I don't want to steal your story. I think that would be best.
I mean, just I don't know, vanity speaking this off, I'm going here saying hello, and don't get confused.
How do we all feel? Not too hot?
I'm good. Well, I went to the toilet. Is there enough space? Because I'm not even in the holding.
There is enough space. There is enough space. However, I wonder if I will ask about for the
Otherwise, it's okay. Just let me know.
No, I mean, you are Priscilla. Is there also a name tag for Priscilla? Yeah, sure. Priscilla, it's coming. Yeah. Can we see if it's working, the presentation? Right now. Maybe people are not coming back at all. Yeah.
And the queue in the toilet is quite big.
But that was the important question, guys. Who plays the piano? Priscilla is on the guitar. There is a piano here.
Yeah, no.
If we get bored, we just might play the.
It was not on the script.
Possible technical challenges here? No. slides. Just let me practice your names once more. Benedict Franke. Well enough. Christelle Talon.
Super.
I'm trying it the French way with 4 years of French, and then
Have you tried the presentation?
No.
Is it uploaded? No?
I guess it is.
Okay.
Probably the lighting.
You especially notice when you re-enter, then you think, oh, this room has no air. We can try to put the window.
Can we upload it and check?
Yeah, I think it is uploaded. Presentation is working.
Yeah, I asked my colleague.
They are coming.
Oh, I see. It's up there.
Yeah.
They want to see how she's up there right now. I put some comments in the slide. I wanted to know if we are able to read the comments.
The idea is that we don't, right?
No, there we go.
No, you don't.
Ah, okay. So
This is Benedict.
Yeah, but it's just mirroring the slides. It's not a presentation.
okay, but I was wondering. All right.
And here is a video. Do you want to see whether this is working?
Okay, I will.
Ooh, yes. And now it breaks. No sound.
The sound will be the midterm. I guess we will have the sound.
As we progress, we will always keep on climbing mountains from sky.
Into this digital world for several years now, and still we have the same problem, right? With every big event.
As long as we keep using PowerPoint
Yeah,
and
sure.
whatever, it's
It's gonna be the same.
Like a very formal example. Did you want to see the comments? Yeah.
Chatting around. Dear guests, I would like to ask you to return from the break and join us again for the first panel session of the conference.
Okay, and we don't see the slides.
You do, I mean.
Yeah, but you see the slides you're presenting, not
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
you
yeah.
see the slides. which
No,
is
no, no,
coming.
no, unfortunately.
Okay.
Oh, that's only me.
Okay, okay.
I think with the logos. That works. I am glad you're taking the lead in here.
Why?
Because I think this is the thing of what we're talking about, and it's a nice start. Because actually our panel is a bit eclectic, so it will be challenging not to lose the main idea, but let's see how it will go. With panels it's always exciting because it's not a talk you prepare and that's it. It really depends on the audience and what they want to get. So, and the energy. So I told the organizers, please let the people have their coffees, because
vannak még kint?
Hát,
Aha.
de most már megvannak a hiányzó.
Meg, szuper, köszönjük.
Do you know where this person is?
No.
Because she is taking notes apparently, but we don't know where the person is.
No.
I sent everybody in.
Okay, shall
so
I start?
just tell them to sit down.
Please, everyone, if you have arrived back to the room, sit down, take your places. We are about to start with the first panel session. Dear all, welcome back. First, technical announcement. We have found some glasses, so if anyone is missing their glasses, please look for me and I'll have them at my place. So just to remind you, we are now going to have the first panel session of our conference today. It is entitled Intercultural Awareness in European University Alliances. And it is going to be chaired by Rena Zendedel from Utrecht University, with the participation of Christel Talon representing EU Connexus, Zuhail Okan from EU Peace, and Benedikt Franke from the University of Würzburg, and also another colleague Rena is going to introduce. Rena, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all caffeinated and ready for discussion, because that is, I hope, what we will be doing today, but not before all of us present a little piece of our work. We actually already have been collaborating in an intercultural way. So Benedikt Franke will be the first one to tell you about intercultural awareness in European alliances, and then all of us have a little say. And then I really welcome you to engage in discussion. So whenever there is a question you have in mind, please write it down or just keep it in your head. And I hope we will have a fruitful discussion in a minute. Benedikt, the floor is yours.
Perfect. So yeah, hello everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Rena. So my name is Benedikt Franke. I'm an accounting professor at the University of Würzburg, and a member of the Academic Council since May now, so quite new to the game. And I was asked to introduce the panel, kick us off here. So a couple of slides from an accountant on intercultural awareness. You have to bear with me here. Yeah, so let's see. So the first thing when I was asked kind of to kick us off here was, what are we talking about? So I'm an accountant, so I was looking for numbers, definitions and stuff. So you'll see some of them here. But I like the keynote because that had already some of the stuff in there that I'm going to present, and it means that I at least got the idea of it, at least I guess. So the definition I went with was intercultural awareness is the understanding and appreciation of cultural differences and similarities within and between groups. Okay, so far so good. So when I had this definition, I thought, okay, did this affect me, for instance? And I'm German, so I studied at a German university, but I also went to the UK with the Erasmus program at the time. I was a PhD student, and I was a PhD student. I went to Canada, to the US, to Austria, and I even worked in France for some years as an assistant professor. So yes, I experienced kind of these cultural differences and also the similarities in my context. But the question was for me then, am I kind of normal or not? So I was then starting to look for numbers, yeah? And the numbers we have here is from Erasmus+. I mean, it's to 2003 and 2002. This is not the newest stuff, and you see some COVID in there. But in the end, you see with the Erasmus+ numbers are increasing. They're on a quite high level already. We saw these numbers before. So it's not just me, it's more and more people experiencing this, and this is just student mobility numbers, right? We're not talking about staff and all of the other numbers here, it's just this. And if you look at the fields, it's also not just one field that's affected, it's not just one part that's isolated here, it's across all the fields that you see the student mobility going up, staying on a quite high level. So there probably seems to be a need in. Because I'm in Charm EU, so I then also looked up our countries. So these are the 8 Charm EU countries, plus Europe in the beginning. Again, the data 2027 to 2022. But you still see for the inbound and outbound mobility rates from UNESCO, the countries we're residing in are usually on a high level and show increasing trends. Yeah? So my conclusion would be, yes, I mean, it's important that we talk about it, that we have it as a core value, and kind of this whole panel here makes sense, I hope. Yeah? Now, as I said, I'm in the Charm EU family since May, so I also digged a little bit into our DNA and fabric, if you will, and I was very happy to see that, and it's part of our core values. Yeah, that's number one, and it's embedded in our educational principles, and we also already heard that this is going to be quite important, that we are going to teach these intercultural competences so that our students and staff can actually kind of navigate these environments. Yeah? So that's a good thing. So I needed now a bridge for the other speakers, which know much, much more about the topic. So this is my bridge. So I thought about what could be the role of the alliances that we play in a bigger picture. Yeah? And I actually structured around these intercultural competences. That's, I think, is the one thing that stands out for me, that once you acknowledge and you appreciate these environments, you need to navigate them efficiently and in an effective way, in both kind of dimensions. Yeah? And I think alliances play a crucial role here because we are creating an environment where individuals can experience these differences. I did myself when I went abroad, so this is probably nothing too new. But the thing I think which is crucial is that we help students and staff and everyone around us to reflect on their experiences so they can learn, right? Because that was the part, I mean, I went with the Erasmus program, but still at the time, I had the experience, but I kind of was on my own more or less to deal with that. Yeah? And this is probably also for alliances a big thing, kind of where we can get benefits and outcomes. Yeah? And 2 outcomes I have here on my slides. One thing is, once you start understanding the environment you're working in, you get better usually at critical thinking and problem solving. Yeah? And this intercultural dimension is a big, big part of the world. In the end, most of the stuff we do is a people's game. Yeah? If you don't understand the people, you have a problem, and you're going to make wrong decisions. And the other thing, I mean, we have the US election happening right now, yeah? Is kind of creating a mindset. Yeah? So it's not just on this problem-solving dimension, it's that we learn or kind of keep this social cohesion, the empathy, all of these things alive, so we can actually move forward together in kind of these alliances and also in Europe. Yeah? Now, what do we have in Charm EU again? So I'm trying to reflect a little bit on this, and we heard about that. I think we have an interesting tool set which we now need to use in an efficient way. That's what it's all about. I just want to mention too, I think the transnational online learning program that we have is a very nice thing to do because that lowers the barrier of entry, right? It allows people to experience these similarities and differences kind of from the home turf. That's, I think, very, very important because we already heard that there are issues with getting people on board with experiencing this, because sometimes it's just not pleasant, yeah? So it's just new, it's change. And on the other extreme, we have student and staff mobility, so the physical mobility, because in the end, that's what you need to experience, that's the full experience, not just the one behind the gray tiles of Teams and Zoom, yeah? It's the one that you are actually in a room together, which then kind of gives you the full experience. Okay, yeah, so I think that was about my 5-minute introduction, because now we're getting to the actual experts. Thanks for staying with me, and Rina, back to you.
Thank you, Benedict, for keeping it short, and let me immediately use a stereotype. You know, Germans always do stick to the time. So then we go to my colleague Christelle Talon,
and she will be talking about EU Connexus, and there are very nice pictures on the slides of music. It's a festive presentation, so enjoy.
Good morning to all of you. My name is Christelle Talon, and I wanted to present you on this topic of intercultural awareness, the festival we organize at EU Connexus. I'm a project officer for EU Connexus, the European University for Smart Urban Coastal Sustainability, and I'm coming from La Rochelle Université in France. Before starting about the festival, I just wanted to give you a few highlights on EU Connexus. It's also a strong partnership of 9 universities, which are based on all the European coasts. So you have France, Greece, Spain, Lithuania, Croatia, Romania, Ireland, Germany, and Cyprus. And all together, we want to put our expertise in order to provide solutions facing the global challenges, that the urbanized and semi-urbanized coastal areas are facing today. So we have a European University for Smart Urban Coastal Sustainability. We are a bit smaller than CHARM-EU. We have a community of around 69,000 students and 8,000 staff members. We are on our second phase at EU Connexus, and we have 3 axes of development. I guess they are similar to CHARM-EU. The first one is education, of course. Second one, research and innovation. And the third one is what we have called community engagement. And in this axe, we have a work package which is called Community Engagement through Arts and Culture. It's La Rochelle Université who is leading this work package with the student house cultural space that we have there. And it's within this work package that we are hosting this festival activity. So EU Connexus Festival, we are heading towards our 4th edition now. It's going to be next May in Cyprus. We started in 2021 in Lithuania. It was just after COVID period. We had actually never met, and we decided to meet in Lithuania, each university bringing a group of students and also some staff in order to share through cultural activities, sport challenges, and meet our differences and experiment the multilingualism also that is part of our university. So that was the first edition. There was no format as such. Then we had a second one in Romania in 2022. And after these 2 editions, we decided to create a concept of festival. So for last year in France, in 2023, we had already this festival concept created, and we will experiment it again next year. So the concept is, it's a 3-day festival that we now organized once every 2 years at a local setting of the Alliance, so we turn. And it's around artistic thematic workshops, sports challenges, scientific culture initiatives, research-based activities. It's a variety of activities. We want the students also to meet with the staff. We're mixing everybody together because we want to strengthen really this EU Connexus campus identity. You have seen we are 9 campuses. We are geographically far away from each other. So the difficulty, and I guess at CHARM-EU you have the same one, is how do we create synergy between our campuses? How do we make this intercampus connection when we don't see each other? It's not so easy. So with a festival, staff and students mixing together, we can really have this intercultural awareness being raised. But we target also 2 more audience groups on this aside of the staff and the students. We also want the local citizens, the grand public, and the local stakeholders to experiment as well this festival. So our activities, some of them are open to the general public. Because we want the local participants to experiment as well the diversity of our alliance, diversity of nationalities, of languages, so that they can also develop this new sense of European citizenship. That's an important point for us. So how do the students participate to EU Connexus Festival? We launch a call every year of when the festival is happening. It's a call for cultural and artistic project proposals with a thematic orientation. So next year it's in Cyprus, and we want the students to question the challenges that the Mediterranean Sea is facing. We want the students to be also critical about what the Mediterranean Sea represents. So the call is open, the students apply, and they can apply with an artistic project. We are open to any kind of artistic disciplines. It can be visual arts, it can be music, it can be reading, poetry, it can be fashion, literature, in any formats as well, concert performances, and we give them the floor during this festival. We also encourage inter-institutional projects so that the students collaborate between each other. It's a difficult one. We still have room for improvement. We want this bond of this cultural bond happening between the students of the different universities, but to create inter-institutional projects, it's a bit hard work. So that's something we need to improve. The students can present their work either in English with subtitles in the local language of the venue, if it's necessary, or because we want to promote multilingualism as well, we actually encourage the students to present their project in their languages. So they usually do it in the 9 national languages of EU Connexus, and we provide the English subtitles and eventually the local subtitles in the local language of the venue. We have budget for 2 students per university, so ideally 2 projects, but in France that's the case. We also have additional budget to send more students, but initially it was only for two students only. Just to give you an idea, and I will show you a video later, during the artistic thematic workshop, we created EU Connexus song. We had a group of students last year who met in a music workshop with Wilfried Hildebrandt, who is a French singer. And during this workshop, the students, it was a student board request actually to have an EU Connexus song. So we took this opportunity of EU Connexus Festival to create this EU Connexus song. So it was a great achievement that now we play when we have academic ceremony or openings. So I will pass it on in the slide after. We have also scientific culture initiatives, because don't forget, we are the European University for Smart Urban Coastal Sustainability, so we need to strengthen this identity through research-based activities. And also we have noticed that sports is a very good vector to really create bonds between students of different nationality and languages. So we have also sport challenges. Last year, after La Rochelle Festival, EU Connexus Festival in La Rochelle, we had a satisfaction survey that we sent to the students. We wanted to make sure that this intercultural awareness had happened. So questions that we asked the students were your curiosity about EU Connexus countries and cultures has increased. So 60% strongly agreed. Do you feel closer to other cultures? 100% said yes. And 70% of the students questioned said also that their sense of belonging to EU Connexus Alliance had strengthened. So that's the presentation I wanted to make in front of you today. I will show you now a video. You will find pictures of the festival in Lithuania 2021 and in La Rochelle in last year. Unfortunately, there weren't any pictures of the one in Bucharest in 2022. There was no recording of it, only pictures. And the music is Connexus song that I was telling you about. So hopefully it's gonna work.
From east to west, as we progress, we will always keep on climbing mountains. From sky to sea, all we can see is all our hearts with ever-changing flames. We watch as the floodwaters rise, balancing between the truth and lies. Laugh along with me today, as joy is the only way. Laugh along, sing a song. Laugh along, create a spark, and we'll take away the dark. Laugh with me, let's just be.
Thank you.
Well, that was a wonderful intermezzo, I think. Christelle, do you play the piano, perhaps? I do. We can dance afterwards, but not before we go to our next presenter, Zuhal Okan, and she will be telling us about another nice alliance, EU Peace. Please, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to... I'm Zuhal Okan from Çukurova University, Turkey. It's in the south of Turkey. It's quite close to Syrian border. So I'm going to be giving some basic information on what EU Peace is, what kind of alliances, but I think we're going to save, I am at least going to say what we do as an alliance for the purpose of intercultural awareness in the second part of the panel. So I'm just going to introduce the alliance to you right now. So it's quite young, I mean, when compared to EU Connexus and Charm U, because it's been just a year. In fact, 1st of November marked the first year of EU Peace, so we're quite young. So, but it's going very well, really. So if you just start with the emblem, the symbol of the EU Peace, it's the Mostar Bridge and the old city of Mostar. And we chose it as a symbol of the alliance because it just, just brings to your minds the idea of reconciliation, international cooperation. It's the coexistence of diverse cultures and religious and ethnic communities. So this is what we're trying to do in EU Peace. So EU Peace, it's a European University Alliance. It's peace, justice, and inclusive societies. So our mission is to provide, it's very concise, is to provide tomorrow's citizens with the skills and knowledge needed to cultivate peace, justice, and inclusive societies. So the partners, we have the leading institution from Germany. We have Marburg, University of Marburg, again from Germany, Gießen. From France, Limoges, and we have two universities from Bosnia and Herzegovina, University of Sarajevo and University of Mostar, and from Spain, Comillas, from Italy, University de la Calabria, and from Czech Republic, we have Best Bohemia and us, Çukurova University in Adana, Turkey. So we are from east to west, so it's a kind of a good, wave. So we just aim to cooperate on several fields, really. I mean, they include some research activities. In fact, so far we have, it's been a year, and let me remind you again, sorry. So in that year, we managed to establish 3 research hubs. And I'm going to go into that in a minute, but when you hear peace, justice, and inclusive societies, that just relates to social sciences. But in fact, the project is an interdisciplinary project. So we try to address students' needs, administrative personnel needs, and academic needs at every level, in every discipline. So that research hubs do reflect that concern of us, because we have, for example, a research hub on security and conflict studies, international relations, whereas on the other hand, we have one on health and well-being, and we have another one on migration, etc. So they started working, and we have 2 more to go. And in terms of mobility for academic and administrative staff, like I said, we have 3 important components. We have the administrative staff, we have the academics, and we have the students. So we try to give equal importance in terms of mobility, especially, to each group or each components. So in the work package 4, for example, that we do everything that we can to facilitate that kind of mobility. And exchange of knowledge, of course, in the hubs and in the other conferences, seminars that we organize. I'm going to go into that in a minute. So there is this exchange of knowledge. And we organize joint conferences, seminars, and academic gatherings. I mean, just recently, for example, we had a workshop on teacher education, and it was online, but it was, I mean, you know, there are some, plenary speaker said, you know, that there are some advantages and disadvantages of online sessions, but it went okay. But the point is we just try to address the needs of teachers, not only in service teachers, but also pre-service teachers, also students, etc. So there's this diverse groups. And we have student exchange, of course, and we are working on an innovative curriculum to support peace and justice. And among the commitments, like I said, we have the students, we have the academic community, and we have the societal dialogue. So we try to bring them all together and just create a learning experience for all of them. I say the societal dialogue because we don't want the project to be limited to our campuses. So that's why each partner is in close contact with the local governments, NGOs, and other organizations so that we could just come together and have this mindset, you know, a mindset which would just work on to prevent, if you like, the perpetuation of stereotypes and all those injustices and etc. So this is the mindset that we are trying to create. This is what we are committed to. So I will just go over that very quickly. We have 3 key concepts, as the title of the project indicates. It's the peace dealing with existing conflicts by civil means without violence or the threat of violence, justice, a state of recognition, and a distribution of goods that allows for equal opportunity of all members of a society to participate in public life, and inclusion, the fostering of a mutual sense of belonging into society among their members by offering effective, non-discriminatory means of participation and involvement. And very briefly, we have these work packages. As I said before, in the second part of the panel, I'd like to go into those work packages, what exactly we do in terms of intercultural awareness. In fact, when you hear the title Peace, Justice, and Inclusive Societies, it's inevitable that we are going to be dealing with interculturality and you know, intercultural awareness, sensitivity, and etc. But there are a couple of packages doing more than the others. For example, in terms of transforming curricula, I'm going to mention what we do. Internationalization of teacher education, facilitating mobility, campus and student life, research hubs and doctoral studies, societal dialogue, and impact and dissemination. Yeah, that's the brief information about the EU piece. So if you have any questions and anything, I'm just going to be ready during the break and everything. I'm at your service. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Zuhal, and I hope you're still on and writing down your questions. So I think we're next. We, as in Priscilla and I, yeah, why not? Well, of course, we are just the representatives of the whole, and today we will just very briefly talking about the module that we have created for our students. I'm looking at Harriet. I think the module is not kicked off yet, right? We are at the kick-off position. So it was, well, I will tell you exactly what we have been doing. So today, in this very brief presentations, I'll hopefully in a funny way take you through the steps in creating the module, the assets and some challenges, and then Priscilla will conclude with useful remarks and introduce you to some tools that we have been using and that you also can use creating this type of modules. This is how it all started. I thought just during the meetings, let me take some secret screenshots of my colleagues. You see some of us are in shock and thinking, and Well, Harriet is there wearing this beautiful outfit. You all can see her. This is all facilitated by Harriet, and she would gather us in these meetings, which was already nearly impossible. We're teaching in different time zones, different universities, but you see, she was quite strict. So we were there doing all kinds of scary things in the Miro board, maybe known to you, but it's like this digital thing that you enter and you leave your notes, and there are many notes there, so you can see that we have been working very hard, and we've been thinking, what are we going to do? How are we going to create this module? So we have been talking about the light version, the extended version. So in the end, today we're presenting to you the light version, the short version, a 2 hours module for our students to engage with, to listen to. It is a video module. I'm talking a lot on that, so it contains many anecdotes of my personal life, because as it started is that I said, well, let me just make a prototype and, you know, tell some things to the students, and then everybody said, good, go ahead. So there is a lot of personal stories also that quite nicely fit with all kinds of theories in intercultural communication. But this is a bit of how the process went. So there was a lot of brainstorming going on, and then at a certain point, well, many more meetings, challenges, I have to go to my lecture and all of that. And in the end, we're stuck in this little team. So Priscilla is here, Harriet is here, Alexander, our colleague, is not here, unfortunately, from Montpellier, but hopefully somewhere with us online. And we've been working through the summer very hard to get it all on time. And thanks to Harriet and her time management, we actually managed. So, but it was not, as I said, it was not without, I just thought it would be funny to show you how many meetings we had. So the structure was, we had the general KCT meetings that was generating ideas, deciding on the course aim. It took us some time. And then we actually needed to work in smaller teams to get work done, because as I said, it was nearly impossible to get together. And let me ask you a question. We created the module. What do you think we did after it was created? Anyone? Hard, loud. Celebrate, almost. Ta-da! Yeah. So Harriet put us in this very funny meeting. No, there was another meeting actually to discuss what we had done. So meetings, I think, is the key word in this, and of course it's important. The nice thing is of our century is that you meet in this kind of settings and you see faces that you later on actually recognize. From the very crowd, I immediately recognized Priscilla, who I never met before, but nights along, we were sending each other many emails, and I thought, well, some things that are very useful and needed, and they were there, and I think that was the base to be able to do this. I think main thing is we love what we do. With we, I'm referring to all the people being engaged in this. I think there was really a spark. We were very enthusiastic to actually create this module. So that was very important. We are knowledge in the field. So I'm from the Netherlands, and when I talk about Hofstede, the Hall, all kinds of researchers in the field, everybody knows, right? So there was this question, should we use Hofstede or not? Well, we decided not to. So for any one of you who knows who that is. And then I just put the names on the slide, Harriet and Alex, with that meaning structure, because put academics together and they will generate a lot of interesting ideas, but then somebody needs to, okay, so what we are doing is, and actually have it structured. And as I said, digital environments. Miro was very handy. The SharePoint, we had all of our stuff together working in the same documents. And then some challenges. As you see, it's almost like the pros and the cons list. The challenges were smaller. Time and logistics, we managed eventually, but it was hard to get us all together. And I think the institutional embedding, that is something to work on, because, for instance, referring to my own situation, maybe the same for my colleague here, I did this all partially in my research time, partially in my private time, because I just like the idea. But some institutional embedding would be handy. So the the people who are creating such a course or teaching such a course, it would be good to get some credits for his hours or money or whatever. But for now, it also worked on mere enthusiasm. And I think my colleague Priscilla will take on with some useful remarks and conclusions.
Thank you so much. Actually, two things to say. And the pictures, because most of the pictures I'm like kind of sleeping, I'm taking notes, I'm not sleeping. Just so you know. And also, I'm here because it was easy for Rina to present everything, but it's true that we decided to do this together because at the end, it was like the clear path to go and to build this short module version. Although it's, of course, gathering about a lot of different ideas of all the team. And this is exactly what we want to say now in these 2 slides that I have here. So some conclusions and also useful remarks that are part of the experience, and probably you can relate to that as well in your different teams. Someone needed to step up. It was like we kind of assumed at some point during this work, because with all the brainstorming, it was a little bit of a stuck at some point, like, okay, we have so many good ideas, definitely, but what's the structure exactly? And so what we thought it would be useful to keep building these kind of formats in the future would be to try to establish small groups leadership with basic structure already done. So for instance, this short module is already a little structured that our team is going to work for the extended version. And we're going to have these small groups already meeting in Barcelona to organize all the information, which I would say is also really relevant to try to put faces in person, because that's also a way to strengthen the ties among different collaborations. So I would recommend you to, at some point, if possible, meet in person with the team, and that will also create these bonds. We do not need to invent the wheel all over again. That's also important because we want to be very creative. That's probably one of the main challenges for us as academics and innovative people, right? Like, we want to do something remarkable, something different, but we don't need to go all the way back to try to establish different processes or something. What is important is that we already are teaching, and this is very crucial for our unit, because Rina was already teaching about this stuff, and it's actually what we use at the end, like some of her structure, as she said before, most of her examples and experiences, but that is actually something that when we were watching the video that we have created, we could relate to some extent. So that's also important for us to keep in mind. Like, we have already information and teaching tools that we can actually put into use for the rest of us. When to stop brainstorming? I don't know. I think we never stop doing that. But we can always write down these ideas, for instance, in this Miro board, to keep working with these ideas for future updates. And here's where I want to say that the students are a huge remark in this regard, because we need to work with them. And that is something that happened with our group as well. We were talking with different students at the same time, like trying to evaluate what our ideas make sense to them and everything. And their feedback is crucial, not just to build the module, but also to evaluate how the module resonates with them afterwards, to keep updating the information or the examples or all of these kind of different things. And how to do that, here's where I would like to invite you to see the next slide. It's like thinking about the interactive part of any online module. What tools do we have to do that? So basically, I decided just to divide in different sections that maybe will be useful for you as well. We have like 3 or 4 or 5 main areas that we can explore in the future. I included some of the most important tools, let's say, for me, because that's part of what I do, but also because I think it's crucial to try to combine all these elements together. So the first one is about trying to establish different ideas of interactive processes with chronologies, maps, graphics, infographics, and images. And why is this? Because we're talking about people in different parts of the world. To try to be more interactive would mean to also try to place them virtually where they are located, where their experiences are about. So for instance, for the extended version, we're planning to include a map that's going to be built together, where they can share the experience about this part of the first module that they are going to learn. So for instance, they are going to learn about how to face a shock situation where some culture is different than mine. What am I supposed to do? Well, in the extended version, maybe they can just include that experience and write it down so everyone else can read and learn from that. And this is an interactive approach to that. Then also learning about storytelling, which is not news for us because we know that, we use that in our classes, but it will be nice also to try to include these sort of narratives with exercises or gamification with the students so they can actually participate and engage in this process as well interactively. And then video, audio, music, which was our big, I think, bet in this short version, because at the beginning we started with a PPT, with a PowerPoint presentation, but then we were like creating something new, so I proposed to let's move it to Canva. And then when we were trying to see if the model was working, at the end we said like, okay, you know what, let's do this a video. So we decided to do a video because of our own process of how useful it was going to be at the end. We realized that our students don't really pay attention for a 2-hour video, like, you know, or 2-hour presentation like that, but they can use this video as a podcast, let's say, so they can actually listen to that while going into transportation to somewhere else. And it's short, it can be divided as well in different capsules if needed, so they can actually just be into that easily. So we need to also try to adapt our own technologies and knowledge into these new ways of consuming different multimedia or elements there. And then about translation and grammar correction, I think it's also important, and there are also a couple of tools that I suggest for you, because we're talking about respecting also different languages, but to respect is also to learn how to correct and properly use them. So these tools are working in different languages, most of them. For instance, language tool is also working in Catalan, which is very particular because not all the tools works in Catalan. So I think this is also clever to have into consideration. And at the end, just thinking about artificial intelligence, that we may need to try to figure out how we are going to work with that. And to that, we have already some ideas for other colleagues as well. So for instance, there are different softwares that can summarize, for instance, a paper, right? And transform it into a podcast. With care, of course, because we cannot just jump into the conclusion that all these tools are going to solve the situation. There are very, very huge nuances over there, but we can just try to approach to these ideas as well. And so far, this is what we have done, and I hope you, once we release the small module, you can also give us your feedback, because it's important for us. And I want to thank all the team because it was a very great experience on my behalf. Thank you.
Well, I want once again to thank all the panelists here and you for the listening, and already in advance, thank you for your questions that maybe are popping up. So we don't have much time left, but I hope we have, oh, that's great, yeah. I hope we can take 10 to 15 minutes to discuss. The main question is actually how can we equip our students to flourish in an international environment. That is the main question, the main theme. But of course, any related questions or maybe content-wise to the audience, I see there is a question already coming up. What do you think of starting with the questions? And then I think it's very important to engage the audience because otherwise you listen for nothing. So let's do it this way.
Hi, my name is Lara. I'm from the University of Bergen. And just first, wow, amazing. I'd like to congratulate you for this. And I don't want to take much time. I was just curious to know, so do you teach this? Do you use this like across universities, several people working together at the same time? Because you're saying about the time difference. How do you do? How long does the course take? How many credits? I was just curious about the practical things because we have been trying to do such a thing and we know it's really time demanding, so very exciting.
Thank you very much for your question. I will answer a part of it and then give the floor to Harriet, I think. So I was referring to our cross-cultural collaboration between the experts in the universities creating the module, and the module is going to be for our students to watch before they go to their study abroad. And about accreditation and everything, I hope Harriet can answer that question. Can you? Maybe the mic, yeah.
Yeah, well, is it working?
Yeah, for the short version, there are not going to be any credits for the students because we believe that the students are really interested in following this film, and we will place it on the CharmEU website and also at our CharmEU University websites for both outgoing students and also for incoming students. So we will reach a lot of students by this, and since it's a very short film, as it was mentioned, we believe that the students will be also very interested in seeing the more extended version that we are going to work on.
Harriet, and I'm asking just a question on my own behalf, but maybe on behalf of the audience too. So we place it on our platform. Is it freely accessible if you're a student from Bergen, for instance? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we were even thinking about opening it up or doing some marketing among all the students at our universities, because we have a lot of students that are not going on any exchanges, but this would be maybe a good thing for them to have a look at as well, because that would maybe take away some of the fears that they have. And then I have a question to the whole panel. What to do about those students who are a little bit afraid of getting an international experience? They might have heard that the way of teaching in other universities are quite different. It might be very modern, it might be very old-fashioned. So what should we do about this to try to get more of our students to really dare to do an international experience?
Great question, Harriet. I also really like it how question leads to questions. Academics are crazy about that. So please, the question to the panel, how can we actually decrease this anxiety that also Professor Lanan was talking about today? Anyone?
Is it
music? Is the answer music, Christelle?
No, I don't know if there is a secret recipe. But I think the testimonies from students who have been abroad, who had also fears, and in France we are very bad with languages, and having to follow a course in English is such already a mountain to climb. But we send students who have who thought before going that their level of English was not good enough. And then when they come back, they say, but in fact, I managed, and I think it's an encouragement for other students who have this, the same ideas about their level of English. That's what came to my mind straight away. It is testimonies, and how the students, maybe once you are abroad, how you have to dive into this new environment, and I think things slowly happens. Better understanding. You start meeting friends. You start going out. And myself, I was the Erasmus student in Spain some times back, and I think we all go through this first adaptation moment.
Thank you very much, Christelle. Yeah, I guess the answer is embrace the unknown. Yeah? Yeah. Please.
So I'm going to continue with the other question. If you have anything, a new question, you're welcome to. But I was just going to say that, I definitely agree with you. When they come back from that Erasmus experience, even their posture changes. They just stand up and they just feel much better about themselves. Because as EUPs, again, we believe that having this sensitivity, having this awareness is fine. That's what we should do to promote that awareness. But I think the second thing is that we need to just generate some kind, not interest, but some kind of practice with it. If you just do not engage with, directly engage with those different cultures, different languages, different ethnicities, that awareness is not that, of course it is valuable, but you need to practice with it. These are what I mean. So those mobility, the university, European University Alliance, in fact, is doing very good with that. I mean, those mobility opportunities and the projects. In our project, for example, we have the student club, student council, student senate. So they need to just meet together and write their own code of conduct, and they just work together. So engage with different people. So it helps them grow, seriously, mentally, and I don't know, here.
In the heart.
Thank you.
There were more questions. Please go ahead.
Good day, everyone. My name is Laura. I'm from ELTE University, and I am researching the representation of students in the university decision-making. And here now I would like to start speaking about the last topic that you have mentioned. How in the Alliance do you make sure that the students' voices are heard? We all know that it's easy for the local students through the student councils, but how do you manage to hear the voices of the international students in the Alliance, in your universities?
Great question, thank you. Anyone?
Should I continue?
Yeah.
I mean, just like I said, we have different bodies, governing bodies. I mean, it starts with the rectors, and you know, it just comes down. So we have the steering committees, etc., and we have the student council and the senate, and we have in each partner university we have student clubs, EUP student clubs. So in the senates of each partner, senate, I mean the university senate, partners university senate, they're going to be voicing their own concern, their needs and interests in the Senate. I know that partners do have different structures and different traditions and different sense of, you know, administration. So taking care of those differences, we're going to find ways of hearing their voices, the students' voices, because it's very important. But EUPs, we're doing our best to do that. Thank you.
Yes,
Propaganda
there is,
time. EUPs.
We have exactly 3 minutes for 1 or 2 questions, maybe. Go ahead.
I will try to be short. I will also say that we need to try to have a tool or a particular action to have the feedback. So, for instance, in our module, we decided to include a feedback kind of survey online with a scan code that they can just easily scan with their mobiles and just follow a very short questionnaire. We don't want to mess with that as well. But in a sort of clever way, like an innovative approach, trying to combine different strategies, maybe gamification again, or maybe some reward, to be honest. Like if you complete this questionnaire, you may get something, you know, nice or something like that, because that's crucial. But then after that, I would recommend to actually pay attention and update the structure as some of the comments have made or have been done, for instance. So we don't need just to gather information about the students, but really pay attention and try to focus and do the changes they require, so we can all be successful in that.
Thank you very much. And there is one more question, yeah?
Hello, my name is Prasoon, and I'm doing research on international mobility here at ELTE. So my question, actually, I'm researching more on problems and challenges international students face. So what kind of challenges you might have heard from the students and how you are planning to cater them?
Wonderful question. Is it clear for everyone? So the challenges international students voice and how we're dealing with them. Who would like to take on? Suhal?
I think the first one is the teachers themselves. Seriously. So we need to start with the education of teachers in our partner countries. I mean, they themselves need to develop that sensitivity and that awareness so that the next generation, I'm talking about teacher education, so the next generation of teachers would be able to have that awareness and help the students put that awareness into practice when they face different cultures, different genders, different ethnicities, etc. So teacher education, to me, is the first challenge.
Thank you very much. I think we have room for one more question. Jan ten Tij it is, yeah?
My name is Jan ten Tij. I'm a professor of intercultural communication at Utrecht University. I really like all the presentation with all the different projects on intercultural awareness. My question is actually, how does the Alliance help you to change the curriculum at your university itself. So because it should not be something extra, it should be part of the core business. So how does the Alliance help you to change the core of the program where you're teaching?
That is a challenging question. Jan is known for challenging questions. Yes.
How does the Alliance change the mode of teaching or content of teaching?
Your own curricula at the university. So the Alliance, I think the idea is that the alliances and what we do here should affect also the way of teaching at our own home universities.
Well,
Priscilla?
I'm going to talk referring to the case of Universidad de Barcelona, which is my case. We have a new master's program in the Faculty of Audiovisual and Communication. And this new master has a BIP course that's going to actually take place in Budapest by January. And so from the Alliance, I also translated some of these incomes and these ideas into what we are doing for the BIP itself. So for instance, these tools that I was suggesting all of you to have attention to, or maybe to build our knowledge on, is actually something that we're using as well there. Some of the ideas on how to combine all these different perspectives with different universities is taking place already in our program. So in the case of University of Barcelona, maybe it's the timing, it was a coincidence, I don't know, but we are actually combining both things and trying to structure something that dialogues with our charm spirit, but also inside of the university as well. So we're trying to always keep a challenge, a channel where we can actually talk about our experiences and how to improve internally these experiences in our teaching with the students. I don't know if this answers your question. Thank you.
So we all go to you for nice initiatives. Having said that, we are around. Oh, there is one more question, but I'm afraid I'm looking at the. Can we take it? We can take one more question.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
Please
you.
Go ahead.
It's Roland from University of Montpellier. I have a specific question for our colleagues from La Rochelle, but maybe it could be interesting for the other one too. I heard that you create also not only artistic challenges and not only cultural challenges, but also scientific challenges. And I would like to know how you did develop these scientific challenges and maybe how they are connected also to the questions of culture and artistic approach. Because to resolve the question of the urban issues, coastal urban issues, of course, you must mix everything, and science is in the middle of the problem, I think.
So I will, to answer your question, I will give the example of a festival last year we had at La Rochelle University. It happens that at La Rochelle University we have already an annual festival, which is artistic, but it's also, during this festival, we have, maybe you have that in Montpellier, the Student Week of Ecology and Solidarity. Yeah. So it happens at the same time. So in fact, we invited some students, PhD students, to present some of their research during that week. For the next festival coming in May in Cyprus, our colleagues from Frederick University are organizing what they call the Blue Limassol Forum. It's an event happening once every 2 years with the municipality of Limassol, and they are also showcasing research projects around our topic in connection with coastal challenges. So that's what we are doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your questions and for your answers. I think it's about time to take a picture and lunch. And there are more questions, I feel it, I'm sure. So please bring them on during the lunch. And thank you very much for your attention.
Rina and Priscilla, thank you very much. And also the panelists, thank you. And to the audience for your active participation. Now, Blanca is taking a picture of our panelists, and after that, before leaving you to lunch, I would like to ask you to contribute to the whole picture, I mean a group picture. For that, please come up to the stage, and behind the screen you can see down there in 3 lines, but also it's our colleague Gábor Ruszták who is going to take the photo, so please follow his instructions. And after the picture has been taken, we would like to invite you for lunch. Lunch is served outside, just in front of this room, and then you will find tables you can gather around and follow these very interesting discussions 1 floor up. So please join us for the picture first, and then let's go and have lunch. Thank you very much.